Alrighty, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. Kindness between siblings is the first lesson in love and respect. When we foster that relationship between our children, where they understand the place of kindness and of respect, then we are teaching our children about the world and how they can be healers in the world. It is where our children will learn that kind words can heal. It is where they will learn that actions can uplift. And this is where they will learn that the hearts can grow into understanding. Welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. My name is Mary Beth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And of course, I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens. In the Mastermind Circle, we raise, we nurture, and we guide and mentor children who will become approachable, children who will be kind, children who will be empathetic towards their siblings, towards their family, towards their friends, their classmates, and everyone that they encounter. Your preteen is going through a lot in this time or phase of their lives, and what they need are supportive people around them, supportive parents, supportive peers, supportive mentors, and a system that is supportive. Welcome to the Skill of Show, that show where we answer questions the parents have about their children because they want to be better parents or they want to be effective at parenting their children. And the question we will be answering today is a question of how can I help my preteen who is unapproachable and in some cases unkind to their siblings, especially their younger siblings? Does this resonate? Is this something that you can relate to, dear parents of preteens? Is it something that you can relate to? Do you have that boy? Do you have that girl that is 10, 11, 12, that is even 9? Okay. And you find that they are constantly upset with their siblings. They are constantly saying nasty things, acting nasty, giving the silent treatment, and everything else that does not spell nice. And then they have that younger sibling that is always complaining. He is not nice. She is not nice. She said this. She did this. She pushed me. She said something nasty. Now, these things are common. They happen in our homes, okay? We see these things happen in our homes, and sometimes the way we go about them or the way we approach them as parents can actually lead to, yeah, the way we approach them as parents. Sorry, I need you to. All right, so the way we approach these things in our homes as parents can actually lead to whether something good comes from this or if something bad comes out of this. All right, give me a second, please. Alrighty, so let's move on with what we are doing. Yesterday, I was here and I shared, we were talking about what were we talking about yesterday? We were talking about children who are outspoken or who are different at home, but they are in school or outside the home. They're vibrant and expressive and all of that in school. I mean, at home. But when they step out of the home, the reverse is the case. And we looked at a couple of things. All right. And I said in that session yesterday that going back and looking at the reason why this is happening is very key or very critical when we are dealing with children. As a parent, Every time you notice a negative behavior, every time you notice any behavior at all in your child, what you want to do is you want to trace, you want to identify the reason behind that behavior, whether it's negative or it's positive. If it's a negative behavior, it means that there is work to be done and there is something that you can do to nip that negative behavior in the bud. There's something that you can do, okay, to help the child unlearn that negative behavior or whatever it is that is promoting or fostering the negative behavior. When we look closely, we will see there is always a root, there is always an experience, there's always something that the child has learned from home, outside the home, or whatever. They must have learned from their environment and their parents. Your child's environment is what you permit. Absolutely. Your child's environment is what you permit. The environment is you in your home is what you have created. The environment in the school is what you have introduced them into. You took them to that school. So if you have taken them to a school where you have not bothered to, investigate and find out whether that environment is conducive for your child, okay, it's still your responsibility. If you didn't take the child to that school, then the child would not be a part of that environment and will not be absorbing from the content of that environment. Okay, the friends, and the community, the friends and all of this people around that your child has got access somehow is linked to what it is that you have made available. The television and screens and every other gadget or whatever it is at home that is promoting certain behavior in your child is, of course, because you have made these things available. So this is what we mean when we say your child's environment is created by you, the parents. So it also tells you that you have powers. You have the power to change that environment. You have the power to adjust that environment. You have the power to introduce them or to expunge them from an environment that is not serving, especially if that environment is becoming a challenge and it's posing negative behaviors in your children. So the roots is what we are talking about. It's very core. It's very important that we always go back and look at the root cause of whatever it is that is the reason behind the actions that we see or the behaviors that we see in our children. All right, so we're going to be looking straight in, we will go straight into why our children why it's likely that your preteen, is unapproachable and is unkind towards their siblings, okay, especially their younger siblings. Let's look at why this could be the case, and then we will look at what we can do to help, or what we can do to mitigate or to help them unlearn or learn better ways to approach their siblings or to act basically at home. Sometimes it's not even just their younger siblings, it could be even their older siblings, or it could even be towards you or towards the people in the home. It happens in some cases. There are extreme cases that you will even hear of 12-year-olds who are outrightly aggressive, right? And outrightly aggressive to the point of showing aggression towards their parents. Okay, so these things happen, and it's, as I said earlier, how we handle them, how we deal with them today will determine if this will go away or if this will become a problem that will span through a lifetime, okay, or a problem that can actually destroy relationships and connections between our children. All right, it's amazing a lot of the times when we see us as parents, right, who have neglected some of these tail signs, have neglected the green light or the red lights now that we saw in the relationship amongst or between our children, and we allow them. We can see a lot of us who are older can see in some of our relationships with our siblings. All right, there are people who have extremely toxic relationships with their siblings. Okay, they have extremely relationships that have gone extremely sour, right, with their siblings, and sometimes even with their parents. And when you go back and trace it, it's usually something that started right from when they were younger or little children, that the parents took for granted or were not even present enough to notice that something bad was going on, or something, was decaying right there in their home and in their relationship. Some of it is even in the way as parents that we handled the conflicts and the relationships between our children. All right, so we don't show up. Good morning. How are you doing, Onyechukwu? All right, so as parents, we don't show up the way we should show up, and we don't handle the relationships or the conflicts between our children. And because of our poor management skills and poor management abilities, okay, we allow this decay go deep till it becomes a thing even in their adult years. And sadly, you now see the same parents who couldn't, same parents who couldn't foster a good relationship amongst their children, wanting those children to go out and have spouses, and you are there being a problem in their relationship with their spouse when you couldn't even foster a good relationship amongst your own children. And then all of a sudden, you want a child that you have not taught how to resolve conflicts, how to deal with their challenges, how to solve their own problems, how to fix their mistakes. All of a sudden, you want them to go and meet a random, another human being that they met probably in their late 20s, in their mid 20s and 30s, and in 4 or 5 years, you want them to have a resounding relationship where you raised your children for a whole 18, 20 years or 25 years of being together, and you were not able to help them foster a good relationship amongst themselves or between themselves. So you see how we can really be hypocritical as parents. In fact, even in your relationship with your child, you have more, you haven't even been able to achieve a relationship with your child that is effective, a relationship with your child that is, that is great. You, in your how many years of being their parents, you weren't even able to position yourself in a place where you have a good relationship with the child, that you respect each other, you can influence each other's decision, they can listen to you, they can listen to your thoughts and your opinions and make it count, where you are that relevant in their life. We're not able to even foster that in our relationship with them. And then all of a sudden, we expect absolute strangers who became a part of their lives later to be perfect at this and to be great spouses to our children. So we would have to do our homework, and we would have to be truthful to ourselves as parents if we want to raise children who will indeed thrive, navigate the world effectively, and be a blessing to their spouses, their children, their family, their community, and the world at large. It all begins from home, and love is what is shown or what is known first at home before our children step out of our homes. So let's go right into why our children can be having these challenges, okay, and what we can do to help them, why our preteens can be dealing with this. Okay, so number one thing why your preteen can have all that roller coaster of emotions, and in many cases you see them being unkind and unfriendly towards their sibling, is identity and independence issue. All right, so by the time children grow from being 10, from being 6, after their formative years, right? By the time they get into ages 7 and 8, they become more. They are becoming more and more aware of themselves. The child is becoming more and more aware of his autonomy. The child is becoming more and more independent. So a lot is going on, with your preteen at this phase of their lives. They are seeking their identity, they are seeking independence. So this is the time they want to make small decisions for themselves, whether or not they know how to make decisions for themselves, whether or not you have skilled them on how to make informed decisions. They want to make decisions anyway. Now, the quality of the decisions that they make at this time is going to be as a result of what it is that has been invested into them. What you have done in the last 6, 7, 8 years of their life is going to inform the quality of the decisions that they are making at that time. So, as a parent of a younger child, this is for you. You want to start helping your child know how to navigate independence, know how to navigate, their autonomy. You want to help them understand a few things and a few facts so that this does not affect their relationship. Because one of the reasons they are nasty is they are trying to make decisions. And when their younger siblings come around with their silliness, their younger siblings come around with their babiness, okay, they are irritated. So they are irritated, and their younger siblings become more annoying at this time, because somewhere in the mind of your preteen, he is now a big boy, he's now a big girl. Okay, he now wants his space a certain way, and here comes your 8-year-old, your 4-year-old trying to come and mess up that space. He is upset. Okay, he now wants some quiet in his space because he wants to speak to his friends, or because he wants to play a game, or because he's listening to music. And here comes your 3-year-olds or your 5-year-olds coming to be a nuisance in his space. And so he is constantly angry, he's constantly annoyed by the little ones around their space. Now, this is the same child that he used to play a lot with when he was 5 and the child was 2, when he was 6 and the child was 3, or something like that. All right, this is the same little siblings that they played together and they did silly things together. But now, all of a sudden, your child is a preteen. He is more independent, he is more autonomous, and he feels that he is now like the adult in his head somewhere. And so the little children become very annoying. Their questions are annoying, everything around. Hi, Obe, how are you doing? All right. So when they come into that space, your child is annoyed. So this is why your preteen is constantly pushing his younger sibling away. And of course, because he doesn't have the right dose of emotional intelligence, and because you have not taken him through this process, you do not understand this, or you have not paid attention to the fact that there is a need for this phase of the child's life, then the child is not equipped. So the child is going to act from a place of zero emotions in this area. Remember, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the child's brain that helps the child to actually exhibit control, emotional intelligence, and all of these other skills that help them become the nice person or the understanding person that they should be at this point, is not fully developed. It's not even developed. So yes, the child does not know how to relate or handle the fact that all of a sudden he wants to, do big boy things, and his little sibling is still there babying all around him. All right, so this can be an issue. All right, now what are the solutions I'm going to give you? Okay, should we just go? No, let's give the solutions as we are going. Okay, what can the solution be at this point? If we understand as parents that this is how the child's brain works, and by the time our children become preteens, these are some of the things that they are going to, encounter or go through, then it is right that now that your child is 8 and 9, you want to start having these conversations. You want to start teaching and telling them what it is that will happen, that could happen. All right. You want to start having this, you want to open this line of conversation where you are saying, oh, these are the things, that can happen. And a good way to do this is to read books. You can read books where characters, the character in the book, will show some of these books generally about young children, preteens, and all of that. And while you are reading together, you can share perspective on things like this. The characters will exhibit some of these things, and with that, you can begin to teach. For example, we have a new book that is out in a few days. Okay, Wisdom Stories for Champions. In Wisdom Stories for Champions, we have a group of cousins who are over at grandma's house, all right, their grandparents' house for the summer holiday. And while at it, a lot of things will happen. All right, now it will give so many examples and instances of conflicts, and younger siblings getting into trouble with the older siblings. Now, this is where you come in when you share this kind of books with your children. You begin to throw in lights there, and you begin to share perspective on how to handle this. So your child has first-hand experience, or your child has prior experience, okay, of how to handle things like this even before they get to that phase in their lives. So you see how you give them heads up, you give them a head start, basically, and you are, of course, not just being a parent concerned about people saying you are a good or a bad parent. You are a strategic parent, and you are a parent who has a plan, and you have a vision. This is how you do it. For parents who have children already in that case, okay, you need to let them know that independence doesn't have to come at the cost of kindness. Let them know that you can be independent and you can still be kind. Teach them words and simulate them, all right, for how to handle the situation by role playing. So it could be that one of these situations have happened, or just simply because you have been in this class. What do? Go and create scenarios, okay, where you can actually act out what to do or how to go about, it when they feel irritated by what it is that their siblings are doing. Teach them the breathing exercise, okay? When your sibling comes into your room, allow them come in if they knock. So if they don't do the right thing, let them know that they need to knock first and come in. Can you try and accommodate them for at least the first 3 to 5 minutes? And then after that, say to them kindly, okay, there, you need to go right now, okay? So before they come in, you can actually say, okay, I'm going to let you come in for 5 minutes, okay? And then you can tell me all you have to tell me. And then after that, are you agreeing that you will go so that I can do what I'm doing? And then the sibling will say, oh yes, I will. And that's it. They see, this is how you're fostering a good relationship. You're teaching them how to handle these things, and you're teaching them how to mitigate the conflicts, okay, that can happen in their relationship. Because the truth is, if we don't deal with this, they don't just end like that. They become the experience that these siblings have together. They become the memories that they are creating together. They become the relationship that your children know. And of course, this will not just disappear when they become older. The relationship they have as older siblings is going to take its roots from the relationship that they had as younger siblings. Very critical. The second reason why your child may be doing this is because your child is emotionally stressed, and your child is going through a lot of hormonal imbalances and all of that. Okay, this is when puberty is kicking in, and there is a lot going on in your child's head, in your child's body. A lot is going on, and sometimes these things can lead to irritation. All of these hormones, and raging and all of that can actually lead to a stress. It can actually lead to irritation and all of that, and frustration. All right. And of course, what is it? That frustration is is easily taken on people who are lower than you. Okay, when you're having a bad day, okay, let's say you had like a bad day at home, or you had a bad experience at home, and you go to work, you don't go and pour your frustration on your boss. It hardly happens, right? You will hardly ever go and pour your frustration on your boss. Usually you will pour your frustration on your subordinates, because it's easier to bleed on people who are lower than you. It's easier to vomit on people who are lower. They say if you want to know who a person is really, you want to know who a person truly is, see how they act when there are people that are deemed lower than them. Okay, don't judge people's action by what they do to people who are ahead of them or who are above them. Judge their actions by what they do when they relate with people who are beneath them. Okay, even your children, watch them, see how they relate to the nannies, see how they relate to the security men, see how they relate to the people beneath them. It will give you an idea of how you treat people, okay, because your children will reflect what they see you do. All right, so a lot of times your children, your preteens, are going to put their frustration from all the emotions that they are going through. Remember, as I said, hormones are raging. They are adolescence is happening to them, and they have all these hormonal imbalances, and all of that. So basically, they will feel frustrated, they will feel stressed sometimes, they are irritable sometimes, and it's easy when their younger siblings come around them with their silliness. It's easy for them to take it on them, and so they say all those nasty things, they give them the silent treatment, they tell them off, and they say all of that. And as I said, I will continue to repeat this with every point. If you don't pay attention to this, dear parents, this becomes the relationship, and this becomes what your the younger sibling is absorbing in the environment. This is what the younger sibling is absorbing. This is what the younger sibling will know as what life is, or that's what they will know that the world is. That hostility from their older sibling. Remember, they do not understand what you know, and they do not know what I'm saying right now. So if their older sibling is constantly nasty and saying all those irritating things, and all of that, is always irritable and all of that, this is how your younger sibling will take it and express it in their classroom, and express it with their friends, express it to other people who are coming after them. So yes, your preteen can actually make a mess of their younger sibling if we don't understand these things, and we don't help them understand how to deal with what it is that they are going through. All right, number 3 is lack of empathy and perspective, right? When your preteen has not been raised right, or hasn't internalized the concept of empathy, and doesn't understand the concept of perspective. Okay, now this is what we do in the mastermind circle. All right, what we do in the mastermind circle, because we have children who are 6 years and 7, okay, even children who are 5 years and 8 months can come in as of September. All right, because we know these things, because we understand the brain of the group of children that we are working with, our curriculum is loaded with this. Our curriculum seeks to create solutions for these things that we are talking about. So we have a whole month where we are dealing with, honor and all of that. So in honor, we're dealing with honor for your family, honor for your parents, honor for your siblings, and all of that. We have a whole month, of course, that we are also doing resolving conflicts with our children. Then we will be teaching them, how to resolve conflicts with their siblings, and all of that. So we make them understand these things, okay? And we equip them for a time as this in their lives, and all of that. And of course, we have that open relationship with their parents, where these things are showing up in their home, okay, or in the life of the children already, and the parents give us feedback so that we can stay in there with the children and help them walk through this phase, okay, and what it is that they are going through during this phase. So you need collaborators, you need partners in your parenting journey. As I would say, your house, your room, your compound, no matter how big it is, it's not enough for you to raise a global citizen, or for you to raise a wholesome child. Why is this? It's because you need people who are speaking the same language as you. You need people who are reaffirming the things that you are saying. Your children need to know that these things are not exclusive to you. They need to know that these things are the things that are principles. And how do they know it is principles? It is when they know that it is widely accepted, even just beyond your home. This is why you need people who are speaking this same language, and people who are willing collaborators with you, especially mentors that you can trust because you share similar values, or the content of their mentorship aligns with your values. These are very critical. You may not be able to ascertain all of those things in a school system. You may not be able to, most school systems will not even break down what they are about in this way. A lot of school systems are not even capable of breaking it down this way. And because there are too many, how do I call it that? It's not easy. A school system can hardly even be broken down this way, because you have children from different, different backgrounds. You have teachers with different ideologies. It's a big system. It can't narrow it down to this. But when you have mentorship programs like the Mastermind Circle, we are able to streamline and narrow this to exactly what it is that you can actually look through and see if it aligns with your values, and you can run with it. It is a closed system. It is closed enough for impact to be effective in a short period. So you want to connect, you want to pay attention, and you want to take advantage of systems like this. All right. So yes, that's it. So your child is going to, so when our children do not understand this, right, we will have all of the challenges that we are talking about: lack of empathy and perspective, right? So when, as a parent, you are not even empathetic towards your child, you have your preteens that you are constantly judging, your preteens that's constantly getting into trouble. Remember, they are more autonomous right now. Their autonomy is beginning to take a grip on their actions and their choices. So the child is going to make a lot of mistakes during this period of their life, because all of a sudden at 8 and 10 and 12, he feels that I can make my own decisions. In his head, I'm a big girl, I'm a big boy. And now, because he is not very experienced, he doesn't have mastery. And in many cases, you have not even skilled them enough to make informed decisions. So they will make decisions that will be wrong. They will make decisions that will frustrate you, or decisions that will make you upset. And so they will get into trouble more during this period. The less skilled your child is, the more trouble they will get into. The less skilled your child is, the more mistakes they will make. The less skilled your child is, the more bad decisions or uninformed decisions they will make. So the less skilled your child is, the more trouble you have with them in your home. And so when this happens, you will find them getting into trouble all the time. You'll find yourself criticizing them all the time. So for you, you are dealing with a problem at that time. But for the child, you are leaving a lasting impact in the life of the child. So if you are the parent who is going to be beating the child constantly, or yelling and shouting and insulting the child, you are going to leave this with the child. This is what the child is going to know. This is what the child is going to grow with. This is how the child is going to perceive themselves. This is how the child is going to, this is the level of esteem that this child is going to have, especially at this phase of their life when they are between ages 8 and 12 or 13. Do you understand? So because of this, your child will turn and pour the same energy that they are getting from you. They will pour it on their younger siblings. Because you are not empathetic towards them, it is hard for them to be empathetic towards other people. So this is why you have damaged parents raising damaged children. All right, that's what happens. And this can happen even to the best of us if we do not stop and look at ourselves and begin to heal ourselves. Some of us are coming from this place and we are still a work in progress. I would always say this to you. Okay, we have damaged also. So I'm not standing here as someone who is, perfect. I'm standing here as someone who has, been there and done that, and has worked the system and is working constantly on becoming a better parent, so that I do not bleed on children that did not cut me, so that I do not damage children who would damage their own children, and we will have a circle of damaged people. No wonder the world or the society is the way that it is, because there are too many damaged people walking the streets. So if you don't pay attention to being empathetic towards your children, using the right kind of language, using the right kind of emotions around your space, teaching them how to handle the big emotions, apologizing to them when you are wrong, and then, of course, walking this journey together, you will be raising children who are unempathetic. And of course, when children are not taught the concept of perspective, knowing that the way you see things, the way you view a matter can be different from the way the next person views it. When we raise children to think that what they say and what they think and what they know is everything, then we will raise children who are not able to look at other people's perspective to life and to subjects or to, issues. And this, of course, happens a lot of the times when we are parents who are always criticizing. When you are a critic, constantly criticizing without praising, when you never praise efforts, but you only see the negatives and you criticize them. What you do is you become a critical parent, and critical parents raise critical children. So your children are not able to appreciate and to express the goodness in other people. They don't see good, they only see bad. So they will not give accolades. They will not say, oh, well done, you did great. But the moment they do wrong or other people do wrong, they would see. And you know what happens to this kind of children? When they do wrong, they will hide their wrong because they know how painful it is to criticize other, to be criticized. You know how painful it is to be judged. But then again, they need to inflict the same pain that they have felt through your judgment on other people. So they are constantly judging other people and hardly allowing themselves to be accountable so that they don't get judged by others. Very key. I'm thinking we'll have to stop here, even though we have 3 more points to go, but we've gone 35 minutes. And I think I don't want to just rush through this. I want us to go through this and finish it, tomorrow, so that we can look at this, because these are really deep issues and they are not issues that we want to rush through. So thank you for joining us. The Mastermind new cohort begins in the first week of September. Your child, if you have children 5 years and 8 months through 13, I am not just saying they need to. They have to be in the mastermind circle, because it's a different kind of mentorship where basically we are building a foundation. So your child is not lost. Your child is present, because we are present and we see your child, and we want to pay attention and see the gaps so that we can nip what needs to be nipped in the bud, so that we can attend to the small issues before our children become teenagers, where attending to those issues become much more difficult. We graduate the children in the mastermind when they are 14, and that way they can go to bigger programs, because at this point we know that we've been able to work with you, partner with you, to build a solid foundation for them, and so it's easy for them to fly afterwards. All right, to be a part of that. So we have the information right on your screen right now. You may want to screen grab that. Okay, when we had enough time, we said you could actually book with 5,000 naira, all right, and hold your slot. But right now we have just a few weeks to read. Okay, so you may want to reach out to us. Okay, let's talk about this. But yes, the mastermind is very affordable. It's less than 6,000 naira per month. That's how affordable. There is no lesson in the world that is that affordable, even if it is Nigerian language lesson teacher, right? All right. I'm always saying lesson teacher, not because there's anything wrong with that, if that's you, but because I want to give it perspective so that you understand, how much value comes with this, and yet how affordable it is, so that there's no excuse to think that, oh, I can't pay. You can pay, okay, if this is important to you. We need to prioritize the things that are important at this point. All right, so it brings the mastermind to just 70,000 naira in an entire year, and we are with you, partnering and working with you and your child for 365 days. And I mean it. We show up every day for 365 days working with your child, and you have access to us for those 365 days. Big that. All right, so you want to be a part of this. And yes, I talked about my book, so screen grab the information right there, and you can make payments to any of our accounts. Basically, I don't know if that information is on your screen. Let's see, 25. It doesn't even seem like that information. All right, you can check at the end of the session. Just check in the comment section and you will see all the details that you need to join. But you can reach us on our phone number 0813062156. Send us a chat on 081-306-21566, and we will send you all that you need to get into the mastermind circle. But also look in the comments and in the description after this video on YouTube, or in the comments on Facebook, and you will see all the frequently asked questions about the mastermind that you need to know. I talked about our books, 2 amazing books that we have just launched, and you can get those books presently as pre-order a pre-order price for $6,999. Yes, you can get 2 books for $6,999. One of them is how am I forgetting? All right, wisdom stories for champions and what destined for greatness. All right, so two amazing books that will help your children see themselves as more, that will help your children understand what's going on in their life, that will help your children see icons that they can look up to and help them understand that there's greatness within them. If your child is 7 and above, 7 to about 13, 14, even your teenagers can read this. But if your child is between 7 and 13, then this book is for that. All right, why don't you reach out to us? Check the information also in the comment section, or you can just screen grab, right, and be and then you can make payments to be a part of, to pre-order this book. At the end of the month, the pre-order cost will go and you get to buy these 2 books for 9,000 naira. You don't want to do that, do you? Save your money. But if you want to keep it and pay us later, plenty, we will take care. But I think you should save that and grab the books right now that it is hot, hot, hot. All right. So thank you very much for joining me. If you got value from this session, please let us know in the comment section. If you have a friend who should listen to this, why don't you share the link with them, okay? Or tag them on Facebook so that they can be a part of this and they can learn from the wealth of knowledge that we have shared this morning. Thank you very much and have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye.